Welcome back to Life and Style Monday edition. That's health and wellness, and I'm joined by nutritionist Belinda, and we're all about eating healthy and obesity. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the show, Belinda.
Thank you very much.
Many questions have been put out there. Overweight, obesity, BMI. What are our lazy terminologies, Sana? What's the difference basically between being overweight and being obese?
Generally, everybody has their own body type.
Yes.
And when you look at the body type, we start to look at the difference, variances, which we usually go into looking at you if you're underweight, and we use the body mass index, which is termed as the BMI. Mm-hmm. So the body mass index is what now makes us know where you actually lie. So if your BMI is below 18.5, mm-hmm. which usually how we get the BMI, is your weight, your height, yes, and your weight in meters squared. So that is how we get your BMI. So from the BMI, we are able to tell if you're underweight. 18.5 and less, you're underweight.
Okay.
Between 18.5 and 24.9, mm-hmm. or 25, you are overweight. You're at the normal.
Yeah, normal.
Normal. And then from 25 up to 29.9, you are overweight. So, and then 29.9 onwards, you are an obese to 30. Okay. So you'll find that in most cases, we actually interchange. So some people, you think you're overweight and we'll say you're an obese and all that, but everything has to be determined by your weight to height ratio.
Okay.
And it's a very big challenge for us, especially if it's actually, you keep graduating. You're at one point, you're in a normal body type, and then the next thing you're an overweight, mm-hmm. and then within a very short time, you actually get into a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then without knowing, one day you walk into my office and we say you're an obese. It's quite shocking when I tell you you're an obese, because obesity is associated with fat people.
True that.
And fat people, actually, now how we come to obesity is very simple. Fat accumulation, excess body fat accumulation, which can precipitate you to health problems.
Very, very well articulated, I have to say. I know where my BMI is at, so I know exactly. So fat, good fat, bad fat, or that is what we put in? What are we talking about when we talk about fat?
You see, generally, mm-hmm. fat is good, yes, because our bodies need the fat. I mean, for you to get your body, generally, that fat is very important. It's good for epithelial support and all that. Mm-hmm. But the fat that we keep referring to usually is what we take in, and we're not able to expand it out. And if you look at generally, fat will come about from what you eat. When you eat anything in excess, calorie in, calorie out. And the calorie out part is usually a failure to most of us because of leading sedentary lifestyle.
Yes.
So with the body, whatever it will take in, and then you don't burn it out, it is converted and stored as fat.
Yes.
So when we say you're fat, it's simply what you have not burnt out.
Okay. Now, I promised our viewers out there that we're going to be talking about not just obesity in adults, but also obesity in children. And we had a conversation earlier on when you were in studio, and I was telling you, what is happening right now. You look at a baby, they're what, a year, 2 years, and they can't even walk. Comparing to when we were growing up, everybody at that age was a world champion in terms of running around. Mm-hmm. What has changed? What's the problem?
It's amazing at how we give back to children, mm-hmm. and the next thing is, I want a fat baby.
Yes, they say mtoto akiwa mnono
unamlisha
vizuri.
Yes.
Yes.
And we will do, for us mothers, we will go to any extent to make sure that baby is fat. So our challenge right now in managing growth in children is parents trying to make the children fat, because it is a sign of you being a good parent, parenting. Yes. Now, what we forget are the consequences. So obesity in infants starts with you as the mother.
Okay.
When we're told we need to breastfeed exclusively for 6 months, yes, because the child will get all its nutrients from your breast milk, we do not believe it works. So what do? We start piling in. We cook. We add solid fats. We give food. And when you come to the clinic, I ask you, what are you giving this baby? I'm simply breastfeeding. But that's not true. And guess what? This body has to work. It's an infant. The body has to work slowly. It has to develop, and the developing takes a period. That is growth during the growth spurt. So when we try and push so many things, what happens? We get the obese babies. An obese child, we are putting that child's health at risk.
Yes.
Because one, they have difficulty in breathing. Their growth spurts is interfered with because we are pumping too much. And remember, this child cannot play, cannot burn out the extra. So what happens, there's these adverts that you usually look at, and you see, we've seen all the things that go on Facebook and WhatsApp, and you can see the fat babies, and you're all you like the fat child. Please note, it's not a good thing, because that child's life is at risk. Studies that have been done are showing that our children, when you have an obese child, you translate to an obese adolescent. The obese adolescent, unfortunately right now, the moment your daughter reaches 8 to 9 years and is an obese, that child is just about to see their menses. I work in a clinic setup, and I see that every now and then. And then at the same time, both boys and girls are already starting using insulin. Diabetes has checked in, because simply we have glorified obese children, and we take the obese children into obese adolescents. From the obese adolescent, it's to an obese mother or an obese parent. An obese parent will have an obese child, then it becomes an intergenerational vicious cycle.
But you see, sometimes people would say, unajua kwetu tuko tu anono, it's in the gene. So somebody messed up somewhere. So it's not probably the gene. It's a parent who was obese and then gave birth to an obese baby. Then akasema kwetu tunakuanga wanono, was brought up in an obese culture, eating everything and not playing. But would you say the school systems have supported or added to?
Now, that's a very good point you've come up with. Huh? I remember when I was growing up, the school system, we used to have hot lunch.
Yes.
And the hot lunch was very simple. We all used to eat the same kind of food.
Githeri.
The githeri was there and all that. And apart from that, we had the physical education part. PE. And look at most schools. The field was humongous.
Yes.
The reason being, we were supposed to play out there. And if you look at the trends, how things have also changed, at that particular time, the specific food we used to eat, I remember when I was growing up, skuma wiki and ugali was our lunch, and then dinner would be balanced. But here we are, where we are right now, all our foods are high energy dense foods. You know, the hot lunches that are provided in school, you find maybe it's the fries, it's the burgers, everything, everything, the trend has changed. So what has happened? Instead of us trying to teach our children to eat healthy, we as parents or the guardians, we are pushing each and everything. Oh, you eat. This is fast food. It's easy to prepare. It's easy to buy. It's cheaper. So that's what the children are eating. So with the school systems, what is supposed to come out is the children are supposed to be taught how to eat healthy.
Yeah.
You remember science class 4?
Yes.
It was all about food groups. And out of the food groups, what we are supposed to pick up is how we are supposed to eat. It starts that early for us. And then now, if at all we are going back at home, then we can actually make wiser decisions for the children, not only in the schools, but it starts from home.
That's true. Okay. We'll talk about parenting and how we are so busy to make hot meals for our children. But I see my set here is full of foods. I can see pineapple there, I see lemons, this is rice, grapes, I see chips. What is all this about? What's going on here?
Okay, generally, when it comes to nutrition, my work is very simple, to teach you to eat right. And eating right means,
you know, when you say that, it looks like we are so bad, terrible, that we don't even know how to do that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just look at a scenario. You're from the studio. If you live alone, what's the best thing you're going to do? You have no time to cook.
Yeah.
First, you're stuck in the jam forever. And then when you get home, do you want to start cooking with Korean pots and pans? You need to catch up with your sleep because you're starting out early.
Yes.
So what happens? From here, you look for the nearest
fast food
joint. And fast food joints are even better, bigger. You know, buy one, get one free. You know, it's a terrific Tuesday. It's a Freaky Friday.
Yes.
So what happens? And we all love food. So and guess what? Most of the times when you sit down, What are you thinking about? If you're not too stressed, I'm so stressed, I need something to eat. I'm so lonely, I need something to eat. I'm so excited, I need something to eat. So what happens? We simply don't know what to eat right.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what to eat right, please remember, what is eating you up is the most important part of your plate.
It's true. You know, you brought out something very important, that these fast food joints, they are always giving away something. Because I've never gone to my Mahindi Choma guy akaniambia Mwikali, kula moja ke na ingine na kuongezea. That will never happen there.
Now, if you look at all the foods, that there's always something enticing behind it.
Yes.
They're either high in sugar,
yes,
high in salt, you know, or high in fat.
And sodas.
You will rarely, if you go to an organic market, there's nothing for free.
Nothing.
Good food is expensive.
Yeah.
So, and since we don't have time to cook, what do? The business mind says, add something on top. You know, bottomless soda. You know, we'll be there sitting, you're there biting on your pizza, and there's bottomless soda. You know, there's something always enticing you. And then you make it a habit. Remember, our eating behaviors are all here in your mind. Yeah. You know, it's like, let's go to a certain joint because there's something given extra.
Yeah, true.
So with time, you keep there. And then please remember, the worst part about our eating behaviors is we have a sedentary lifestyle. I keep complaining about my work. The moment I go into the office, I sit there, it is 8 hours of attending to patients, and there's no time for getting out of my chair. So what has happened over the years, apart from your eating behaviors, your seat also became a problem. It became a chronic illness. So generally, we don't know what to eat. We'll eat what is available, what is cheaper, what is more, what excites you.
True.
Is what you will eat.
Okay. Now, all the adults out there, you need to listen. If you're obese, now we've been given the ranges. You go take these measurements and find out if you're above 25, or your BMI is above 25, going onwards, you're overweight, going obese. So let's talk about the adults out there. How do we get out of this situation? Because that is the one question that most people have found themselves, like he said, you don't realize, oops, I was overweight, it's okay, I'll just manage. The next thing you know, I come to your office and you're like, Mwikali, you're obese. What do I do from that point and going forward?
One, if you're a woman, this is how I advise my clients. If you're a woman,
yes,
there's always a problem. My clothes don't fit.
Yes.
You buy new clothes.
Yes.
That is so me. You know, the reason why you're buying new clothes every so often is because you're gaining weight.
Yeah.
So you keep and you tell your clothes, I'll be back.
Yeah.
You have clothes up to 10 years. You're still talking
like,
about getting back.
I'll fit into this
I'll
one
fit
soon.
into this. That is a problem. That is the first thing you need to look at. And then secondly, for both men and for the men, you know, there's the sagging business, sagging your trousers, so you accrue that pot belly, and you never get to realize your belt hole has been changing, and you can sag it up to your knees, and you're okay with it. That's a problem also. So the first thing that I like telling my patients is very simple. It's always good to regular monitor or weigh yourself, because it keeps you in check.
Yes.
Secondly, a tape measure is a very good thing. Simply take your waist circumference.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman, if you're more than 80 centimeters, there's a problem. If you're a man, if you're 94 centimeters, there's a problem. And then let's avoid emotional eating. Let's look at what pushes you into eating certain foods. Start monitoring.
Yeah.
I like giving a situation where you actually write down. You have a food diary. You say, this is what I ate today at this particular time in the morning, and then maybe you had a snack at 10, and then you had something at midday. So you have a record. You're always recording. And anytime you eat something, please note that you have to put an asterisk and say, I ate this because I was excited. You know, women, we get excited and eat so much chocolate and ice cream. Yes. So put it down and say, I was extremely excited. My boss appraised me, and all I wanted was to eat something that is high in sugar. So what do? You put the asterisk there. So with time, how it works for you with time, you're able to make good choices, good food choices. You know, your diet is supposed to be made out of good choices.
Yeah.
Where you look at food, this is healthy, this is unhealthy.
Yeah.
So 80% of what you eat has to be healthy at
Okay.
any given time.
Absolutely.
It's very simple. And then to get out of obesity is usually very simple.
Is it?
Yes.
I have
The
a
moment you
couple of
look at what-
questions here for you. So let's hear the answers first.
The moment you know what you're putting on your plate and how much you're going to put on your plate and how much you're going to listen to your stomach. Remember, there's something that will tell us whether you are full or not.
Yeah.
So the moment you learn to listen to your body, the moment you learn to know your portions, the moment you learn about your good food choices, then we are set.
True.
And we kill off sedentary lifestyle. Standing up, walking around, doing something before, after having your meals instead of, eating and sleeping. That is what you open your mind. And guess what? Look at a situation where you have piled your plate,
Yeah.
and then you eat, and then at some point you're like, I'm so full, and my plate is still full.
Yeah, so you're tempted to continue
Continue.
eating.
You're tempted to continue eating because we got to a habit of where we
Lazima
clean
nimalize.
our plates.
Yeah.
But the best thing usually is my stomach has already communicated it is full. The communication between your stomach and here works best. So the moment it says, this is it, cut it off. Remember, anything that you'll take in excess, the body picks what it wants. What it does not want, converts it into fat. You don't go to the gym and burn it, or you do some walk or something, convert it into fat. Obesity.
Obesity. There you have it. If you have any questions, remember to hit us up on our Facebook page. That's KTN Life and Style on Twitter, KTN Life _ Style, the same as Instagram. SMS is 22840. The WhatsApp number is 0700574747. Now, I don't know what you wanted to demonstrate using this. Do you need to do that now?
Yeah,
cool.
Sure.
Let's do this.
Now, and the certain things I love in my kitchen, and usually a cookbook.
Yes.
Because when it comes to cooking, you have to be adventurous.
Yes.
The moment you're
I
not
have to
adventurous, your food will become boring. So it's always good to refer to your book, 1 or 2 recipes. And I really like the Mediterranean cooking style because it encourages an increase or intake of increasing your vegetable and fruit intake.
Okay.
So a cookbook will always help you, and you can always find a good recipe to work out with.
Okay.
And you can, and always try to use the locally available foods, because sometimes the cookbooks will come and say something else and you don't know where to get it. But you can always substitute with something that is local.
Okay.
But bottom line is, food has to be, you have to try something different every time so that it also gets exciting.
All right.
Then what I really want to highlight about the foods that we eat, we are a carbohydrate-loving society. It's all about carbohydrates.
Yes.
Where is the ugali? Where is the rice?
Mkate.
Mkate.
Yes.
That's where we are. So instead of always eating things, the simple carbohydrates, the refined carbohydrates, for example, your white bread, you can change to wholemeal bread. A bit expensive, but you don't need to consume so much of it. And then you see anything that is simple carbohydrate, it's usually, we say, they spike your blood glucose high, and they have no nutritive value because it's simply the spiking of the blood glucose. And then, I remember when you're in boarding school, we used to eat 1 loaf of bread, and then the next minute, after 10 minutes, you're asking yourself, where did the bread go to? Then you'd be doing a second one. But if you eat brown bread or wholemeal bread, then you won't go for that. Okay. And then let's avoid eating fatty meats.
That's just so you know, this is not real meat. These are props. These are props that looks like real meat though.
So what we're encouraging people is to avoid eating fatty meat. The moment you take in animal fat, your body does not know what to do with the fat. So that is how you increase your cholesterol levels. So what we're trying to avoid is we try and minimize we try and minimize as much as possible, and also we are looking at healthy choices. So lean beef will always work out. Okay. Increase your vegetable and fruit intake. Half of your plate should be vegetables only. Quarter of your plate will be your carbohydrates. The other quarter is going to be your protein. So this is how it works. If it is your protein, what fits in your palm,
that should be enough.
That's what fits in your palm, and this is the thickness.
Okay. Okay.
So you don't have to do the quarter, half.
Yes.
You know, the other people even eat a kilo of meat.
Yeah.
Your body does not need all that. Your body only needs what fits in your palm here, and this is the thickness. If, for example, you're doing something like fish fillet, then what fits from here to here, that is perfect, but you still look at the thickness.
All right.
You know, it might be like this, but the thickness
goes all the way down.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if it's for your dairy products, we look at low fats. We look at low fat yogurt, low fat free, and all that. They're always there in the supermarket, and there's no price difference. They're all the prices are the same.
Okay.
And then avoid eating fried foods, for example.
Yeah, those chips look
so
good.
Our love, you know.
I know.
You know, fries. You know,
they look so real, by the way.
And you know something I hate about fries?
Yes.
You'll be walking so tired, and it's
it's
just there.
Yes.
It's just there, and you'll find yourself there because of the fat.
Yeah.
Starch, of course, number one there. So let's avoid taking in that, because with that comes in a lot of fat intake. And if you're trying to fight overweight and obesity, then you look
this
at
is a no-no.
You'll be going to the gym, burning it out, and then you get downstairs, you eat your fries, so you've done zero work.
Yes.
And then instead of animal proteins being part of our diet through and through, we can still have things like your beans as much as possible. So the plant protein will still work for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so you substitute at any time. You can even do soya chunks. You can do this. You know, there's a lot in the market. It's only that we don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
So always have a substitute for something else. And then if you're eating your carbohydrates are your fist size. Make your carbohydrates fist size. This.
So my ugali should be this size.
Yes, your ugali should be this size.
Oh, from here,
yes.
from here. I don't know what we're gonna do with you know, our Beyond the Sports anchor Brian, because I don't think this will work. Chef Abdallah can attest to that. This will not work.
You know, when it comes to you know, depending on the kind of work that you do.
Yeah.
Whatever activity that you do, we always
advise. He's not working
differently.
out. He's not doing anything.
He's not working out.
Yeah,
so
Brian. Oh, he'll be joining us later for Beyond the Sports, but at least he knows now.
You know, these are things I tell people, try.
Yeah.
Try. The first day, probably you'll get a little bit hungry, but on the second and the third day, you'll be perfect. Because remember, stomach, brain, communication has to be there. Yeah. So, you know, in most cases, what we do, we are simply giving the body more than what it requires.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then things like fruits. Fruits are not meant for babies. Fruits are meant for everyone, you know?
Okay.
We don't want you to be an adult and get a micronutrient deficiency. And then when it comes to things like grapes, you know, there's a problem in my house. When you buy that pack of grapes, and then there'll be somebody always saying, the very last one. Before you know it, the small boy has eaten everything. So the best thing when it comes to things like grapes, 10 to 15 grapes at any given sitting. That is perfect. You know, as much as we want you to take so much fruits also.
It has sugar.
It has sugar. We have to learn how to portion our foods. We just don't go, I was told to increase this, so you'll be doing everything more and more of it.
Okay.
And then my husband loves eggs, but we had to come to an agreement. You can't do eggs every day.
Okay.
So, and we find even better ways of cooking the eggs. So instead of the frying and through, you can boil, poach, or if you're scrambling, you do it very little oil. So it's very simple. You cannot, when it comes to food, you cannot overdo.
Okay. Our time is really running out, and I need to look at a question here, and it's on Instagram. I see Halima asking, does liposuction work for obesity?
Now, there's certain things that have been put in place to try and help people who are obese. But this is my advice. It comes with complications. Lots, you know, when we see these things being done on TV, there's a part which is always cut. You'll be seeing that patient going in, and then at some point, 2 weeks later, the patient is fine. What they don't show us is what the patient is going through at that particular, during that journey. So my advice is, your Rome was not built in a day. It took time for you to get to where you are. So why do you want a quick fix? Quick fix is short term, it's an interim. It does not work. So the best thing is you lose weight gradually. We do not lose weight. You know, we do not drastic weight loss. You know, people are coming up with all these things. I can help you lose 10 kilos, 10, 15, please.
We have seen it all.
Yeah.
You know, you kunywa and then you'll go to the toilet and you'll be okay in a couple of days.
Let me tell you one thing, there are consequences.
Yeah, totally.
And the consequences are usually grave. That is one thing. While I'm marketing something, I am not telling you that this and this will happen. Bodies are different. Our organs work independently. The moment you interfere then that is how you even get into other health risks. You know, you pose yourself into so many health risks. So all these things that have been put in place, somebody will say this will help you, but please note, there's always a disclaimer.
Okay.
And look for the disclaimer. The best way to lose weight is gradually, slowly, because you're making it it is a lifestyle.
And this is all about lifestyle, right here.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, it is lifestyle modification. So the best thing is you modify your eating behaviors.
Absolutely.
Modify your lifestyle by
Okay.
you stop being sedentary. Very simple and easy.
Does it matter? Does it matter what kind of work I do? Look at a person who is toiling hard, a farmer probably, guys who are in the construction industry. Is it the same for them? No, that's different.
If you're sedentary, of course, you need to take less.
Okay.
If you're to mjengo, then it means you need to take more.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends.
So they can double the portion?
We can double the portion depending on the
Absolutely.
kind of work that you do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Belinda. I wish we had more time. But okay, we can have this conversation going on our social media platforms, and maybe you can give context if people want to get in touch with you, where your offices are at, your clinic, and personal number if you're comfortable.
Yeah. I'm found in any AR healthcare. We have 18 centers. So we all sit there throughout the day waiting for people to come in and consult. So you're very welcome to any AR offices.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been amazing talking to you. And, you know, today is all about health and wellness. And this is what we need to hear every single Monday and every single day, to just remind people, you know what? You need to eat this way, you need to do this. Now, coincidentally, we have Chef Abdallah later on the show. And I would love to, to know if you'd like to take part today and, help bring in the nutritive part of cooking to the show.
Great.
Great.
I've actually been watching him and I like how he cooks.
Yeah,
and probably what I need to do is just to enlighten people what he's cooking and how it can be of benefit to the body. You know, remember what you eat?
Yeah.
Is what maketh you.
It's who you are. Actually, you are what you eat. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're a good sport. You're a good sport. So, Chef Abdallah, we will be joining you later on. Mimi na Belinda. Sindio? Okay. There you have it. Keep the conversation going. You'll see Belinda again. She is an amazing sport. She's agreed to be part of the kitchen with Chef Abdallah. Taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, it's all about Beyond the Sport with Brian Tsuma.
Ndio mavazi yangu ya kikazi sasa.
Job ni hivi sasa.
Kabisa.
I told you, this guy is a boxer. You see him in shorts, gloves,